to the Tim Price Retirement Celebration. Tim Price Retirement. I'd like to thank Tim for not calling in sick tonight. I know that Tim is sitting there thinking that I am going to have a lot of fun at his expense, really roasting tonight. But Tim, that's not my style. You have nothing to worry about tonight. In fact, I would like to begin by being sincere and say something that comes straight from the heart. And this is difficult because what do you call a man who has the respect and admiration of all of his co-workers? What do you call a man who has inspired countless young people to pursue their dream of making a difference in the world? What do you call a man who is stepping aside after giving everything he has to the students of Baltimore County? You call that man Dr. Dance.
I knew that was coming.
But he's not here tonight, so let's talk about Tim. I know that everyone in this room agrees with me when I say, thank God Baltimore County Schools had Tim Price. And to paraphrase former FBI Director Jim Comey, Lordy, he was something. I would also like to recognize Gene Price, Tim's trophy wife. You know what, Tim? It was first place. My name is Mike Sapaglio, and I will be your NC tonight. The good news is that I was first on the list when it came to possible NCs. The bad news is that the title of the list was worst case scenario. That's because at last year's White Oak retirement dinner, I created some controversy. I am a huge Steelers fan, and I told some Joe Flacco and Ray Rice jokes. I offended several Raven fans, which is surprising because everybody knows that Raven fans know absolutely nothing about offense. Antonio.
Nobody's laughing.
I also have the habit of saying inappropriate things, like at last month's 5th grade field trip to Marshy Point. The park guide was pointing out the native plants. She showed the kids honeysuckle, bamboo, and wild rose. I immediately replied that wild rose went to my high school. The park guide was not amused. But don't worry, kids, I will be on my best behavior tonight. I work at White Oak School. All right, stand up, White Oak people, and make some noise for Tim. Let's hear it, White Oak. Hey Tim, how come all the retired staff from White Oak look great, and those of us still working at White Oak look like extras from The Walking Dead? I don't think Jerry's aged a day. Now, yes, we can confirm that stories that you've all heard about White Oak are true. We have it all at White Oak. Depression, ADD, ADHD, conduct disorder, manic episodes, panic disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, selective mutism, and even delusions of grandeur. But enough about the administration. Nobody repeat that joke. It's my evaluation year. But I started working at White Oak in 1993, and I used to hang out a lot with our crisis unit, Tim Price, Gene Pipes, and Carol Frisco. It was a blast. Newspaper every day and pizza on Friday. I also worked with Tim at Summer ESY, Stricker Middle School, no air conditioning, and epic dodgeball battles. My dodgeball team battling Tim's dodgeball team. I would like to recognize some of Tim's dodgeball teammates here tonight. Pat Rockstro and Cindy McGaughan. Stand up, please. Have you ever heard of the Mighty Ducks? Meet the Sitting Ducks. Now, I'm not going to critique Tim's dodgeball skills, but his nickname was No Hit Sherlock. In November of 1996, Tim Price and Gene Price became Mr. and Mrs. Timothy Price. A better match there never was. I remember two things from their wedding. First, Jean wore tennis shoes with her dress. I think that was in case Tim tried to make a quick getaway so he could catch it before he took it back. Second, the couple wrote their own vows. It was especially touching when Jean promised to love, honor, and speak into Tim's good ear. Working at White Oak with Tim And Gene was a trip, because Gene was always sharing stories about Tim. For example, there was the time that Tim was taking a shower, and Gene entered the bathroom, pulled back the shower curtain, and dumped a bucket of ice water on him. I asked Gene, what did Tim do to deserve that? She replied, oh, nothing. Then there was the time Tim could not find his toothbrush. He looked all over for it, couldn't find it. Why couldn't he find it? Because Gene used it. He brushed the dog's teeth. And then there was the time Gene, Tim, my foster child, and I were going to an Orioles game together. We were all in the car. Gene and Tim were up front. My kid and I were in the back seat. Gene was driving. As we approached the harbor tunnel, Gene decided she should roll up the windows. She pressed the automatic window button and all the windows of the car began to rise. Fortunately for Tim, his hand was resting outside the window on the top of the roof. Next thing you know, we heard Tim let out a very loud, painful scream. Gene had pinned his hand to the roof. Now, as I tell these stories, Tim, after all these years, I finally realized who you are. You are the Caucasian Ricky Ricardo. So, Gene, I guess that makes you Lucy. But don't feel bad, Gene. It could be worse. Add a few pounds to me and take away some hair, and I'm Fred Burns. While we were talking about celebrities, don't you all agree with me that Tim Price is a dead ringer for Hollywood legend Richard Dreyfuss?
Oh, yeah.
Just watch the movie Mr. Holland's Opus. Richard Dreyfuss plays the part of a music teacher fresh out of college all the way up to retirement. In a little over 2 hours, you get to watch Tim age over 40 years. Now, by the way, Tim, I have a picture that you'll want to see. It's a picture of Gene taken at the exact moment she found out you were retiring. Want to see it?
I guess so.
What do you mean he's retiring? He's home all day with me. We use this picture in behavior to support this carriage kids straight. So. Now, tomorrow is Tim's last day. Let's all imagine how we'll conclude. And Tim will pull up his driveway. He'll walk up the sidewalk and enter his home, a free man, head held high, knowing he has the respect and admiration of all his co-workers, chest sticking straight out, full of pride in knowing that he has made a real difference in the lives of so many people. A small tear forms in the corner of his eye as he thinks about the job and co-workers that he will surely miss, but is quickly replaced by a huge smile as he thinks of all the good times ahead with his family and friends. Tim chuckles, and in a loud voice, he calls out, "Lucy, I'm home." And now I get to do something I've done many times, and I'm glad I get to do it again, and that is introduce our former principal at White Oak School, Reggie Martinez. Come on up.
Oh my goodness. If you can hear my voice, raise your hands. That's my White Oak team. Always my team. And I see so many other people here that I've had the luxury to work with in various capacities over those 43 years that I was in the school system. So, yes, that's why I have all this gray hair. I truly did not want to miss this opportunity tonight to honor Tim, and also to see all of these people who are so strong in my memories of the world of work, if you will, with special needs boys and girls and special families that come with them. I was telling Pam one of my favorite facts as I was about to retire. It was of a particular family at White Oak who probably contributed to at least half of the gray hair on my head over the years that the boys were there. But what I will tell you is, we often hear that we don't really recognize the impact we have on boys and girls and families and on the people we work with until something changes and your life is different. I would tell you my aha moment for that particular family came on the day that I retired. I have to tell you, I got the most amazing chocolate-covered strawberries that you've ever seen, with probably one of the most important heartfelt cards from that family. So for those of you that are still working, for those of you that held your head high when it was your turn to change the chapter in your life, know that it does happen every day. We recognize it just so little, if you will, but it is out there. I can tell you, as I've said to Tim, and I've said to many other staff members as well, I grew as an instructional leader. I grew as an administrator because I cared about the people that were a part of my team every day. I wanted everybody to feel that what they contributed was important. And I always tried to find ways to do that that would bring a smile to people's faces. And I have to say, the program in our special school grew into the epitome of a perfect learning center for very difficult to manage boys and girls because of the people that were there and the fact that we used their ideas to help improve how we delivered instruction and kept schools safe every day. So my hats are still off, and it's with pride that I say that to all of you in this room. Thank you for what you've done for all of those years that I had the luxury to work with you. A martini cannot miss the opportunity to not have a toast. So if I'm gonna make one up right before your eyes, so if everybody can just raise a glass of some sort, my toast spontaneously tonight is of one of my idols, and I bet all of you know who that is. His name is Dr. Seuss.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to take a little poetic license to change around the words a little bit. They're not mine, but they're his, and I think they're appropriate for Tim tonight. It says, Dr. Seuss said something like, "Don't cry because this chapter of your life is ended. Smile because it happened." Cheers to you and a toast to Tim. Thank you.
And now, I would like to tell a quick story about Principal Reggie Martini. Don't worry, Reggie, Gene Price is not in this story. Back in the 1990s, White Oak had a desk in our lobby where a secretary would greet people entering the school. One day, returning from lunch, I walked into the building. This is the day before security doors. And I saw Reggie sitting at the desk in the lobby reading over some papers. She seemed out of place. I walked back to support and I found out why Reggie was in the lobby. White Oak had received a phone call that an angry parent might be headed to the school and that parent might have a gun. Reggie was in the lobby to try to, quote, head off the parent. Now that is dedication to one's faculty and students and why we were lucky to have Reggie as our principal all those years at White Oak. I would also like to point out that Reggie has a keen eye for talent. When Tim Price left White Oak School, it created a huge hole in our crisis unit. Reggie filled that hole by hiring Tim Carr. White Oak got lucky. It was like replacing Babe Ruth with Mickey Mantle. Staff at White Oak knew that when things got difficult, Tim Carr was always there for support. After 30 plus years serving Baltimore County Schools, Tim Carr has also decided to retire. So Tim, stand up, because on behalf of everyone in this room, and especially your friends at home, we say thank you and good luck, Mr. Carr.
Thank you.
And now I get to bring up Lori Phelps, who worked with Tim, I believe, when she was at Deep Creek.
Thank you. I actually met Tim my very first year as an assistant principal, and it was before I was at Deep Creek, it was at Ed Heights. And when I came in, that was 10 years ago, it was summer school, and he was the very first central office type person that I interacted with as a brand new assistant principal. And I should mention, I come from high school, so I was a high school teacher that was sent to elementary school as an assistant principal, so I didn't know anything about elementary school. And the child wouldn't come in from recess. Okay, so and in high school, we were happy to have them walk out the door, but apparently in elementary school, that wasn't such a good thing. So Tim was visiting, and I should also background, there were, I don't know, 13 staff members that had been sent to the warehouse from Ed Heights that particular year. Do you remember that? 13 in 1 year, 5 by the same family. Okay, so I was told very clearly, we don't touch children. Rebecca, you can plug your ears anytime now. So Tim took me by the hand, and my question was, what am I supposed to do with this child that won't come in from recess? And Tim said, well, have you done this? Have we done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Then we pick him up and we bring him inside. And I was like, but I thought we weren't supposed to touch children. And he said, and this has stayed with me my entire career, he said, I told my wife, the day I can't touch children, she's gonna have to bring me lunch at the warehouse. And that has influenced me my entire administrative career. And so for Tim, congratulations for getting to retirement without getting to the warehouse. I wish myself the same thing. And for all the special ed people in the room, if the principals and other administrators that you work with don't tell you thank you, let me say that on their behalf, really, because I always, Monique and Aaliyah, I know you will back me up on this, when my special ed people walk in the room, I'm like, special ed, hello, because I'm always anxious to see you. And for Tim, I think I sent him, over the last 10 years, I have worked with him in 3 schools. I think I have sent him 2 SOSs, and he shows up the very next day. So for anybody who I took him away from you because you were on his schedule and I sent him an SOS, I'm looking for a new person in special ed that I can send an SOS to, because Tim, I am gonna miss you so much. And for anyone in the special ed arena, to have a principal feel about you the way I feel about the support that Tim has provided to me over the last 10 years, that's when you know you've made a difference for children, but you made a difference for us as the administrators. And so Tim, I could not come. Thank you. Thank you for everything you have done.
Now that Tim has free time, he'll be delivering lunches to the warehouse starting Wednesday. Now I get to bring up Kristen O'Neill. And I can say this about Kristen, she is quite the athlete, which is why she was on my dodgeball team. Jamie was pretty good too.
Hi, thank you. My family and I would like to thank you all for coming tonight to honor Tim for his 40 years of service in the county. But before I talk about Tim, I want to take a minute to recognize my mom. I'm not gonna cry, I won't cry. Why don't I turn this way? No. I'm kidding. Yeah, true. So my mom's support of Tim made it possible for him to achieve such a meaningful career in the county. She was always positive and encouraging, even throughout the kicking, punching, spitting, and foul language that was happening to them throughout their careers. And that's when the kids were in a good mood.
That was just at home.
That's true. I'm talking about us kids. As kids, we all absorb a great deal from the world we grow up in. It wasn't until recently that I realized the full impact of growing up with a dad.
You're right.
I got it. Who found so much fulfillment in his work. Not many kids have the opportunity to work with one of their parents throughout their career. I was lucky enough to work with both. I need those shots. For me, it was an honor and a privilege, and I learned so much from them. There's so many things my siblings and I learned from our dad. We learned that a career doesn't mean mindlessly working for a paycheck. We learned that a job can be something you look forward to every day, something you take pride in, something you truly love. We learned that it's possible to do something for 40 years and have the same excitement for your 40th August as you did for your first. But I'm pretty sure this August will be sweeter. We learned that a job can mean helping someone to grow, reach beyond their known limits, and go farther than they've ever thought possible. It can mean pulling people together and guiding a group or an individual to think positively in the face of adversity. Most importantly, we learned that being a leader means holding people accountable for what they believe in. Dads do a lot of teaching, but perhaps one of Tim's greatest lessons was unintentional. He showed us that a career can be a passion and that working with students is the most meaningful and rewarding way to spend your life's work. He also modeled for us what it really means to place your family as your top priority. Though I should add that while we could count on him to be there for us, counsel us, and give us unconditional love, we couldn't really count on him to find his car keys when we needed to leave for something, and they were usually in the ignition. That is not a lie. Or to stay awake as we sat down to watch a movie or a TV show. And even my kids today will be like, Mom, Pop-Pop didn't even watch the movie. He was snoring and Mama had to hit him. He's resourceful though. Oftentimes, I would see him standing in front of our fridge, putting yogurt, bananas, whatever else he could find in his pockets. When I asked him what he was doing, he would just look at me and say, packing my lunch. So Dad, on behalf of our whole family, congratulations on an outstanding career in Baltimore County. Now you and Mom can spend some downtime running to 35 baseball games, 22 softball games, 17 basketball games, 18 soccer games, and lots of dance recitals. Thank you for modeling for us what it means to be a leader, a motivator, and an example of how to treat people with kindness and respect. We love you and we are proud of you.
And now I'd like to bring back Tim's son. Come on up, please. Did I mention I'm also a Yankees fan, which I can pray for the Orioles?
Some causes are beyond prayer. Well, it's always a privilege to get up to have something to say when my first knowledge that this would happen was about 12 minutes ago. But I suppose that the thing that I would say about my dad is, the truth is I don't know him, in some ways I don't know him as well as any of you do. Because we never lived together. You know, I didn't grow up with him. Didn't work with him. He wasn't there when I came home from school. But I'll tell you something. I can remember with crystal clarity the first day that we met. I was 8.5 years old. I had just finished playing a Pee-wee football game. I know it's natural to imagine me as a football player. And he was there waiting for me. As I walked off the field, he said, "I'm your dad." And from that day on, we've had a bond that's been unbreakable. Even though I spent 6 years of my life living in Northwest Alaska, 6,000 miles from here, we stayed in touch. Throughout all the years, he's been there for me. He's prayed for me. He's encouraged me. What else can I say? You know, I know that he's been a blessing to all of you. And that's encouragement to me. You know, I hope when it comes time for me to retire, I can be half the man that my dad is.
Now I'm going to bring up his close friend Mike and his partner Jason, one after the other. But before, I'd like them both to stand. Without them, we wouldn't be here tonight.
Jason also was going to the restroom, so he totally missed that.
We'll do it again.
I will make sure to tell him how much you appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Oreggi, and in case you're wondering who I am or how I know Tim or why I'm speaking, I was the co-chair in planning this, so I put myself in a list, so you have to listen to me. So I was trying to think of some words about Tim, and all I could think about were F words. And so I mean, the only 3 words that came to my head were family, friends, and faith. And and fun. Yeah, Tim is a lot of fun. So, but family is so important to Tim, and I know that he has an enormous family, but I feel like I've been brought into your family just from knowing you and Jean and just doing so much with you guys. So much that while Jean and me and Jason and Mike were all planning this party, he knew we were here and planning and getting ready. He was at mine and my wife's new house painting the walls while we were planning this party. It just tells you like what a kind of guy that is. So it just really stresses the importance of family to Tim, whether it's blood, whether it's us, whether it's whatever. I know it's so important. And friends, super important. And just a quick story, when I knew I became friends with The Price is Right, was when I was at a behavior interventionist meeting and everybody was walking out, and I'm not sure if you remember this or not, but as people were walking out, he goes, Mike, can you just hang tight for a few minutes? I need to talk to you. I'm like, sure. So I'm like, I feel like I'm getting sent to the principal's office because when Tim Price asks you to step to the side and talk to him, something's either really good or something's either really bad. So I stepped to the side, and everybody wants to talk to Tim after meetings. So he talks and talks and talks and talks. And finally, about 30 minutes later, I come up, I'm like, Tim, you wanted to see me. He goes, hey, you want to come over to my house and have a beer? And I'm like, sure. So I even think I had plans that night, but I get into my car and I call my wife, and she'll attest to this, and I say, Christy, Tim Price just asked me to come over his house to have a beer. I felt like I was a 15-year-old girl. But I was so excited to go over and hang out with Tim. And since then, we've become very, very good friends. And finally, faith. Like, Tim has been there for me and my wife when we've been going through some really hard times. He's prayed with us, he's sat with us, he's been there for us, and we're all gonna miss him. in the county. So I don't have a drink, but I wanted to also toast Tim and say good luck to you. I know everyone will see you, and I know I will see you next week when you're power washing my house. So thank you.
This is the other half of the dynamic duo. This is why we're here tonight. Thank you so much.
So, Tim, before we get started tonight, I just want to remind you tomorrow's a full day of work for BCBS employees. I'll expect to see you at your cubicle at 8:30. We don't leave till 3:30. Although I'll probably be after Lori's speech picking you up for lunch at the warehouse. And I'll look forward to seeing those CRPs from Ed Heights when you get a chance. And Mike, not to burst your bubble, but you waited so long to talk to you that day, you couldn't remember what he was asking you for, so you just said, let's get here. So when we found out Tim was retiring, I stopped visiting schools for the last month. I started co-chairing a party for him. And we sat around the office thinking, well, what do we do for the speech? So this is what we came up with, Tim. Usually most people go with the top 10 list. We came up with 5. The reason for that, well, with the special ed office. So we'll get right to the top 5 things that our office is going to miss about Tim. And for some of you, I know from White Oak from years ago, you haven't seen Tim in a while probably, so some of this might be not as clear to you all, but it's pretty clear to the people in our office who deal with him on a daily basis, or when he's not using sick leave before he retires. So number 5, I'm going to miss watching Tim reach some of his mileage at least 5 times a month. No matter how many times you tell him, Golden Corral night for seniors is not a BCBS sponsor. So moving on to number 4. If you've received a text message or an email from Tim in probably the last 6 months, you're going to notice he's turned over a new leaf and decided to start using technology to his advantage. Apparently that means he's no longer typing, so he's been introduced to the text-to-speech, or the speech-to-text app on his phone. It's really good that as his boss, when the lawyer for the county sends you an email and says, what does this mean? And I try to read it and say, it's just him. So number 3, one of the benefits this year is I've got to present with Tim a lot this year. We use the same presentation mouse. It never fails every time. Hits that button. However, the best part is he honestly thinks the whole presentation has completely disappeared and can't come back. So I'll see the look of panic on his face for a few seconds, give him a chance to settle down, and then kindly walk over and say, Tim, just hit this button at your new business card. So number 2 is really for Dave and I. We really appreciate time when we got to go to lunch. So for whatever reason, Tim doesn't really obey the crosswalk signs. I don't know if like in that one-horse town in Pennsylvania, you could just cross the street when you wanted growing up. But he has a tendency to just walk out. The good news is Dave and I can follow him to get across the street. We just say it's our grandfather out there. And nobody honks or gives us any more hard time. So the top reason that we're going to miss you in the office is that he's the only person who remembers one-room schoolhouses. So we just lost a huge asset to our office. Thank God I have you on speed dial, buddy. So before I get to the second part of the presentation here, I have to thank Gene, because the pictures you saw as you came in tonight and you were getting dinner, That was all Mike and Jean putting that together for me and getting them to me. They were great to see, but I did have to hold some back. So all I can say is, Jean, you gave us pure gold. I feel like a member of the family now. So we like to play a little game in the office when we found out Tim was retiring. What's he gonna do with his spare time? And while going through the pictures, it became clear there were several possibilities. So the first possible career based on this photo, lovely photo from the wedding day.
Guys are hilarious.
So you have an eye doctor's appointment next week to get measured for your monocle. Jean will drive you over to that one. So if things don't work out with painting or spending time with family, the Monopoly Man may be your part for you. So moving on, we know he's an Oriole fan. The resemblance is uncanny between the bird and Tim in this picture. I'm pretty sure we can get you an audition sometime in the next couple months. One of my personal favorites here. So this is back in the White Oak days, we believe, when they were out touring. So Tim could be the lead vocalist for an all-boy rap group, we think. They're available for baptism, bar mitzvahs, and bat mitzvahs. Just see me, Mike and I take 10% for the booking fee. This one, I didn't know you were such a fan of Thanksgiving, but apparently you are a pilgrim reenactor in your spare time. So some of the speeches I heard earlier today are starting to make more sense when combined with these pictures. Because I've also seen you take yogurt out of your pocket and eat it for lunch. So it's all making sense now, I think. One of my personal favorites here. The community theater may be looking for Old Man Winter in December. We got you an audition. This is going way back in the books. While we might not use you as a CPI instructor, you are now the official CPI dummy for Rolling Strengths. This is my personal favorite. Pure gold. A Celtics fan, apparently at heart. So he's going to be impersonating Bill Russell later in the season. So while all those careers may be lucrative, those of us who know you the best, we're pretty sure that what you're going to pick is husband, father, grandfather, and friend dog. So with that, we thank you for your service, and I appreciate your friendship. And this last year has been really great getting to know you even closer, and I will absolutely miss you. And I think the lesson I take from Tim is it's really not the issues that matter, it's the people attached to those issues, and that's a lesson I'm going to take with me forever. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to introduce the Director of Special Education, Rebecca Ryder.
We thought we needed to come some group. We feel like chocolate. They'll pretend they're playing
So thank you and congratulations to Tim. He means so much to us here in the Office of Special Education, and it's been a true privilege just spending time with him and working with him. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he's just been a true expert within our office and helping us all on a daily basis. And I love traveling to schools with Tim because, like Lori Phelps mentioned earlier, he is known by everybody in the county. And I shared this the other day with our staff, and whenever we're in a building with him, we can never leave because we're stopped so many times down the hallway because teachers come out of the doors running to give him a hug and a high five. And he is truly well-known and well-respected, and I just want to say thank you to you for all that you've done, for all the teachers, the administrators, and the students in Baltimore County. It's been a sincere pleasure working with you and just knowing you, and just thank you. So I'm going to end on a little note, a little song that I have for you. I apologize that some of you may not make sense. And I will say too, like the CRPs, I don't think I saw one for me, but I always got like mileage. And we're gonna save some money next year.
Yo, VIP, let's kick it.
Price, baby. Price, baby. Yo, stop. Collaborate and listen. We're here tonight all on a mission to celebrate a guy who's cool and nice. Raise your glass, give a cheer. The one and only Tim Price. Is he gonna retire? Yo, I don't know. Beg with me so he don't go to the extreme to CPI. He's a rock star. Maybe be retirement and not let him get too far. Plans from CRP to double ARP. No more excessive mileage reports sent to me. Tattoo. Tim teaches not to react. After retirement, hit him up with the contract. Love him, respect him, never ask why. Everyone here knows Tim's a class act guy. If there's some problem, someone else needs to know, because Tim Price is retired and Jason's going solo.
Rebecca, before you sit down, I was just kidding about the administration at White Oak. Deborah and terrific. Mike and Jason, you want to come up for some gifts for Tim, please?
All right, so it looks like you have several gifts back there tonight, Tim, but this is a group gift from everybody who's here tonight. We have a few people who couldn't make it tonight who wanted to donate something to you. So if you want to come forward, I got you a little special bag here. It's a little sparkly on one side. Look down there. We got you a nice sparkly bag. So there's a theme.
Thanks, Lucy.
No problem. So there's a theme behind these gifts. So that tells you who all donated. So the theme is family, service, and sanity, because we know all three are things you treasure. So the first gifts go towards family. Yeah. So Tim, you're going to be taking your family, you don't realize it yet, to an Oriole game, and we also got you a Conrad's gift card to do a crab feast at your house. Don't forget your co-chairs that day. So that takes care of the family piece. So the next piece is the whole service piece. So we know how much you have a soft spot for the armed services. So we'll be making a donation in your name to your choice of Veterans Fund. So this one is probably Mike and mine's favorite. This goes towards sanity. So we registered you in the Beer of the Month Club for a quarter. So you'll have a 12-pack coming to your house in the following months that are on this envelope. Mike said something about you're inviting him over. Remember, this was a co-chaired event. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Tim because he did ask to say a few words.
So I wanted to say a few words because I was inspired. Where's Bernie? Bernie Yates. He said, you better say a few words.
10 pages.
So this is probably going to be a little bit more serious than you're used to at a retirement event. So sorry if this is going to be like a little like anticlimactic. So, I've been hanging around with a couple guys this year in our office, and I'll probably say this again because I'm trying to be a little organized here, but those of you that know me know how much of a struggle that is for me. So, I wanted to start off by just recognizing groups of people, because I can't, obviously I would love to recognize everybody and say something in here about everybody, because I know you all very well and I appreciate the friendship that we've had through the years. So I decided I would do it in little groups. So my White Oak friends that are right over here. So just stand up for a second so everybody can see your White Oak. Oh, there's Jackie in the back. I'm going to recognize her because I didn't see her come in. So White Oak people, stand up, Pam. You're in there. Stand up. I wanted you to all stand up so that everybody would know who you are when I'm talking about you. I spent 18 years at White Oak. And just to recognize a couple of people that were there, that I did not know who was going to be here tonight. So if I don't mention you, please don't take offense at it. But I knew that a couple people were going to be here tonight. Like I knew that Dr. Margaret Kidder was going to be here tonight. And so you're saying, why would you say anything about Dr. Margaret Kidder? Because she was at White Oak right after I got there. Now she doesn't look as old as I do, but she's been around a while, and she's done all right, Dr. Kidder? And she's made a great contribution to Baltimore County. And then there's Pam Whites, and you say, well, why would you say something about Pam Whites? I entered White Oak in September 1981 on the 23rd, right, Pam? And that's when I met Pam. And the reason I remember that date, well, Pam told me, she reminded me because my brain is shot. But that was only Faith's birthday is September 15th. She was born that week. And then I went to White Oak and I met Pam. And while we were there, everybody thought that Pam and I were husband and wife. And then I met Mike. Everybody knows Mike. He's been up here making fun of me and other people. A great Steeler fan. When we first met, he was a great Bill Clinton fan. And now I won't tell you who he's with. And then, obviously, Reggie Martini was the principal for half the time I was at White Oak. And her and I had honestly, maybe a little up and down relationship, because I would say, Reggie, we gotta do this. And she'd say, Tim, you gotta prove it to me. But as most of you know, she's been at most of the retirement benefits. And then there are a plethora of other people here that we're really good friends with. And I just want to shout out to Donna and Steve Gallison, who have been friends of mine for a long time, ever since I was at White Oak, and have been very supportive to me in my ups and downs, but more like socially than anything else. And they've been right there for me, and I appreciate that. I call the White Oak people the patient and kind people, because they've been very patient with me as I worked with them, and they've been always very, very kind to me. And you'll get that in a little bit why I said that. And we have the special ed office people. So special ed office people, would you stand up so that everybody can see who you are? Okay. And I worked with every one of those people, and I would say that they were patient and kind, but there's something more about them that I'd like to say. But when I first went to the special ed office, is Susie here? Susie's back there. She's I'm picking on Susie because when I first came to the office, she was one of the 3 people that interviewed me. Joyce Ryer, Nancy Feely, and Susie Swindell interviewed me. And I was hired there, and that's when I left White Oak.
Yeah, probably. Now, the reason I'm giving Susie a shout out was I consider Susie one of the most gracious people that I've ever met, because when I first came into special ed office, I thought I knew a little bit about behavior from being at White Oak, and I really didn't know that much. And Susie shared everything that she knew, her presentation, everything with me, so that I could be better. She's always been, that's the kind of person she is. So, Susie, I just want to say thank you to you, because you've always been very special. Now, all the people that are sitting over there I know and I appreciate, and I hope that you understand that. But I have to give a special shout out, because I don't want to be here all night, to the person that I go to work with. I leave home and I leave my lovely wife at home, Jean. And then I go to work, and Bernie Yates is so gracious to loan me his wife. So Monique, would you stand up so that people can see? I know, she hates this. Thank you. So, the reason I give Monique a shout, for about the last 7 years, she has been the person in the office that has been the closest to me, she's been like amazing, and she's protected me. She's like been on my side no matter what. She's been there for me. She's been very kind, she's been very gracious, and there's not a proud bone in her body. She's so humble that it's incredible. At first, when I met Monique, I was a little intimidated, because the woman is incredibly brilliant. And I was like, whoa, she's just so damn smart. What about me? But she's been right next to me and helped me, and I can't tell you how much she's influenced my ability to actually be involved in professional development. And then last but not least from special ed, I want to recognize is my child, my sister, my daughter, my friend who hugs me and loves me unconditionally. What are you looking at me that way, Megan? Everybody knows it's you and me. Everybody knows how much you love me, Megan. She's the one that she's one person that the Lord sent to me and has blessed me in a number of different ways. But when I think of special ed, here's what I think of you guys. I think that you're not self-seeking. You don't look out for yourselves, you're looking out for everybody else. And it's one of the attributes that I appreciate the most, that you're always looking out for the teachers, always looking out for the kids. Now, I'm not saying that you're perfect, okay? Because that would mean that I would, I'm fitting right in there, and I know I'm not. But there's a bunch of humble people who are willing to put it out on the line in the special ed office, and you have taught me that. Now, the other group I want to recognize is just the schools. There's school people I know from being out in the school. So if you're in a school and you have interacted with me, stand up. I know there's some behavior people back there. There's some other people. There's 10. Come on, stand up, you guys. Come on. Over there, you know I worked with you. You might not want to admit it, but I did. So there's school people here, and so I want to just say a couple things about Tim Clark right up here. Has been my friend for a very long time. And we started off more in a professional relationship, and then about maybe 10 years ago, I got this wild ass idea that I was going to kayak the Potomac River. And I got a kayak, and I'm ready to go, and I'm riding home one day, and I tell my wife, I'm going to the farm up in Western Maryland, Bob's place, and I'm going to kayak down the Potomac River, and this is my plan. And she goes, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, what do you mean? I got the kayak. She goes, you are not going anywhere without someone else. You are not going to drown on me. And she was working at White Oak, and who is listening to this conversation but Tim Carr? And he says, I'll go with them. and it began. So our friendship blossomed after that.
Almost drowned.
Sorry, yeah, we almost drowned a couple times.
Sorry, Chief, it's true.
So I want to also give a shout out to Mark Sindel, who's been a very, very important person in my life. Mark and I met in, I think it was 1985 or somewhere around there, and we've known each other ever since. We've done training together. He has been a person that's like jumped in and helped without like even thinking about compensation and putting his time in to help behavior people. And Kendall Goodrich, okay, back there, same deal. So, I mean, I just want to recognize them because those are people who give their time and their effort and their study, and we're not like paying them anything extra. They just do it, you know, because they love the staff and they love the kids, okay? And then there's Dave Mitchell. Dave and I have known each other for a long time, years back, and we're on the same wavelength. Okay? We know who's in charge, don't we, Dave? Amen. And last but not least, you all notice that, bye kiddos, my daughter's leaving to take care of her kids. Love you. Mike Gorecki, who, I don't know where Mike gets these stories from, but he's another guy that is willing to do everything. If you wonder why he's standing next to Carol Kowski is going to use Mike Gorecki. He will. And Mike Gorecki will love it. And you know why Mike Gorecki will love it? Because he loves the staff and he loves the kids. That's why. That's Mike Gorecki. What I call you guys is, you don't insist on your own way, but you want to serve other people. That's what you're all about. The next to last group is my friends. They're all up here. I know some of you are not going to stand up because you don't want to admit you're my friends. They're like kind of up here. Come on, so stand up, show everybody who you are, okay? Now, a lot. These people, like, most of them, like, I don't know where Bob is. Where's Bob? Okay, so Bob and I went to Towson State University together. And where's Mike Walbert and his lovely wife Rosie were there with us. So we've been friends for a long time. And Bob and I go, like, we have I don't know, some kind of weird special connection. You know, and Jeannie, where's Jeannie? Oh, and let me just say that Bob and Jeannie have been ministers to me through the years, and my family, and Jeannie and I. They've taken care of us in a number of ways, and that has just been a blessing to us. And the other people that stood up, a lot of those folks are, we have a group of people that meet in our house from our church, and you know, they basically, I don't know, you're hard to believe this, but they've actually trusted me to lead a group. and that's been a blessing to me. So I thank them, and we called them Gene actually calls them our life support group. Right, our life support group. And so everybody in that group, and I want to just tell you that this is a little like transitional thing because I didn't plan this, but Sharon O'Fallon, who's sitting right here in the front trying to film everything, okay, and she's going to have everything in some kind of book or something. She's going to give it to her husband, who is a real computer geek, and he's going to do everything for her. Right, Sharon?
Yeah, of course.
So Sharon introduced me to her brother a little over a year ago, who was a veteran, and he had on his motorcycle the name of a man who died in Vietnam. And Rick was a really good friend of mine, and Steve Gallison, where are you, Steve? Okay. And another guy by the name of Oliver. We all go down to the Vietnam Memorial once a month. We wash the wall. And when we go down there, we honor somebody. And Sharon's brother, Steve, went to high school with Sheldon Hicks. And it's just a wonderful story that he told us, and he wanted us to honor Sheldon when we went down to the wall. But the reason I bring this up is that Rick and Steve have both been instrumental in bringing me to the memorial, going to the memorial with me, and instrumental in my personal healing. Gene will tell you, Gene's totally convinced that post-traumatic stress because being in Vietnam, she has more stories than made the video. Yeah, but those two guys have been instrumental in helping me, heal from that. And I'm not going to say I'm healed. Jason knows better than that, but I'm on my way. So my friends, they have protected me, they have trusted me, and I appreciate that. And last is my family. They're all sitting right over there. And then, Kelly, that includes you, so you got to stand up too. Okay, so all y'all stand up. Yeah, sorry, Brody, this is a little longer than yours, but I got carried away. What can I tell you? All right, so one thing, I think Kristen was obviously, she made me sound a lot better than I really, really can do. But thank you. I'm gonna keep that. Okay. All right. I'll need that because obviously you heard some of the things that went on. We have a different kind of family, and we have two families joined together. Actually, three, and it's sometimes it gets a little crazy. It's been crazier in the past, but somehow through God's grace, we've all come through, and we're in kind of a really, really wonderful place with our kids and our grandkids. And I have to give credit to them because they have been extremely forgiving. And I just can't tell you how much that means. Because if you're a parent, you make mistakes. And I always feel that I made some really big ones. And my kids have a lot of grace, a lot of forgiveness. And so when I speak about them, when I talk about them, I think of how they have persevered to become the people that they have become. Because they're all we talk about this all the time. Like people say, how are your kids doing? I'm like, they're like, great. And people like, okay, well, you mean there's like not anything, yeah, really, they're doing really good, and we got 10 grandkids, and we're like, you heard about the baseball games and all that kind of stuff. So I call them perseverance. Okay, and last but not least, I cannot tell you how much my wife has meant to me. Amen. So I've been very privileged. I've got my work wife who's taking care of me at work. And Jean, to say that she's taking care of me would be like an understatement. So we met at White Oak School. That's why White Oak is such a wonderful memory for us, for me personally. And I just remember the day, we knew each other a little for a couple years, and then it developed into kind of a friendship, and we were both struggling, in our lives, and we made this connection, and then we've got, Kristen said, I asked Jean out one night to go to, and Kristen said to Jean, well, why are you going to go with them? So I don't know, it was taking a leap of faith, right, But she went, and we developed a close friendship, and we decided to get married, and we went into Reggie, the principal, right over there, and we went in there and we said,
I remember
and we were working together. We were like in the behavior support, we were working together, And nobody had an inkling that we were like really that serious about each other. Well, at least we thought. I don't know. Maybe they did. So we go to Reggie and we say, Reggie, we want to tell you that Gene and I are getting married. She goes, oh, thank God, I thought you were going to quit. So that started in 1995 when Gene and I, maybe to the chagrin of the children, decided that we were going to join those families together, all 7 of us, and it was not the Brady Bunch. It was not the Brady Bunch. It was a lot of hard work, and Gene was definitely the person who held us all together. Gene is the person that just at work, Monique has changed me and pushed me and pushed me into going to equity training that I did not want to go to. And I was like, and she goes, you got to come with me. I'm like, oh, okay. And Gene is the one at home that says, we're doing this. I'm like, oh, okay. And then here's the great thing about it is that when I do it, I'm glad I did it. You know, I'm glad I did. I'm like, I got something out of it. I got something out of equity training. I got something out of Gene pushing me. We're doing this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she has been the person who I say that she saved my life. Because when we met, I was a mess. And that's a compliment, that I was a mess. And she drugged me out of those bad times. She still says, you had that dream again last night. It's not a good one. So for Gene, I say she perseveres and her love never fails. So I'll end with this, and I call it a poem, but it's a scripture that some of you are probably familiar with. And it goes like this. And if you've been to a wedding, you've probably heard this. And I've done a number of weddings. There's a couple people in this room I actually married, okay? It says, if I speak in the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body, sacrifice myself. I think of sacrificing, at work and just being a workaholic. But I have not love, I gain nothing. And love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, is not proud, is not rude or self-seeking, easily angered, doesn't keep a record of the wrongs, and I'm very thankful for that. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And I want to thank all of you, and I sincerely mean this from my heart, that every person in here has shown me that kind of love at one time or another. And I cherish it. And I hope that you have seen some of that love from me. Thank you.